Alright, superhero movie lovers, we've seen some incredible films hit the big screen over the years, but there are a bunch of superhero movies that never saw the light of day. Whether it was due to creative differences, studio interference, or simply bad timing, these films had all the potential in the world, but never made it to our theaters. So today, we're going to dive into 10 superhero movies that were highly anticipated, but never made it to the big screen. First on the list, we have Tim Burton's highly anticipated third Batman movie, Batman Continues. After the massive success of Batman, 1989, and Batman Returns, 1992, Burton was ready to return to Gotham. The plan was to have Robin Williams as the Riddler and Billy Dee Williams finally playing Two-Face. But after Batman Returns pushed the boundaries with its darker, more adult tone, Warner Brothers got cold feet. The movie was scrapped in favor of a more family-friendly direction, and we'll never know how Burton's gothic vision could have reshaped Gotham one more time. Next up, we have the Edgar Wright's version of Ant-Man. Before the MCU was what it is today, Wright was developing a standalone Ant-Man film. Wright is known for his unique filmmaking style, seen in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, which would have been perfect for a quirky, inventive superhero movie. However, as the MCU grew, Wright's version of Ant-Man didn't fit into the bigger plans. After creative differences with Marvel over rewrites, Wright left the project and Ant-Man was reworked without him. The result was a fun but not nearly as daring take on the character. Fans are still left wondering what Wright's original vision could have been like. Now here's one for the ages. Superman Lives, directed by Tim Burton and starring Nicolas Cage, was supposed to be a completely fresh take on the Man of Steel. Written by Kevin Smith, this version of Superman would have been nothing like what we saw in the 2000s. Superman wouldn't even fly. There was a giant mechanical spider, a bizarre suit design, and an offbeat storyline. The film was a disaster in pre-production, and it never made it past the concept stage. If you've ever wanted to see Cage's Superman or wonder what could have been, check out The Death of Superman Lives, What Happened, the documentary about the troubled production. It's a strange piece of Hollywood history we'll never get to experience on screen. Another film that had massive potential was Justice League Dark, directed by the Hellboy and Pacific Rim filmmaker Guillermo del Toro. The film would have introduced fans to the darker, supernatural side of the DC universe, featuring characters like John Constantine, Swamp Thing, and Zatanna. The film was in development for years, but it never made it to production due to shifting priorities at Warner Brothers. If del Toro had gotten his hands on this movie, it would have been a visual treat filled with mysticism, darkness, and action, and it's a real missed opportunity for superhero fans. Imagine a Daredevil film set in the gritty 1970s, directed by Joe Carnahan. Carnahan, known for his work on The Grey and the A-Team, pitched this idea to 20th Century Fox in the early 2010s, but the film never made it past the concept stage. The idea was to take Daredevil back to his street-level roots, influenced by the crime films of the 70s. Carnahan's darker, more grounded vision would have been a perfect fit for the character, but instead, the rights reverted to Marvel, and we got the excellent Daredevil series on Disney+. Still, it's hard not to wonder what could have been. For a time, there were plans for a true sequel to Man of Steel with Christopher McQuarrie at the helm. McQuarrie, who worked with Henry Cavill on Mission Impossible Fallout, was keen to explore Superman's psyche and deepen the character in a way the DCEU had yet to do. However, with the direction of the DCEU changing and the shift in priorities, the film was ultimately shelved. The idea of seeing Cavill's Superman truly get the sequel he deserved is one of the most disappointing missed opportunities in recent superhero history. Before the Justice League movie we finally got in 2017, George Miller, director of Mad Max Fury Road, was set to bring Justice League Mortal to the big screen. The film was cast with Armie Hammer as Batman, Adam Brody as The Flash, and Jay Baruchel as Maxwell Lord. The movie was poised to feature an epic showdown between the heroes and the villain, but it ran into too many issues, including a Writers Guild strike and complications with the shooting location. If it had been made, Justice League Mortal would have come out years before Justice League did, and it would have been a totally different, more chaotic take on the beloved team. Before the Wachowskis became famous for The Matrix, they were hired to work on a Plastic Man movie. The film would have centered on the quirky, elastic hero from DC Comics. The Wachowskis were in their early career, so this could have been a fun and experimental superhero film. Unfortunately, the project fizzled out and they went on to bigger projects. Given their visual style, it's fun to imagine what Plastic Man could have looked like in their hands. It would have been a completely different superhero movie, and we're left wondering what could have been. Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy defined superhero films for a generation, and fans were eagerly awaiting Spider-Man 4. The movie was going to feature John Malkovich as the Vulture and was set to bring back the entire cast, including Tobey Maguire. However, after creative disagreements between Raimi and the studio, the project was scrapped. It's disappointing that the story didn't get a proper conclusion, but we can still appreciate the trilogy for what it gave us. Spider-Man 4 would have been a perfect end to Maguire's Spider-Man arc. And last but not least, we have James Cameron's Spider-Man. Cameron was set to direct a Spider-Man movie back in the 90s, and this one could have been a game changer. He even wrote a scriptment for it, and while a lot of ideas from it made their way into the 2002 film, Cameron's take would have been much darker and more adult. There were even rumors of Leonardo DiCaprio playing Spider-Man and Arnold Schwarzenegger as Dr. Octopus. Unfortunately, legal battles and timing issues derailed this film, and we'll never know how Cameron's vision would have impacted the superhero genre. So, there you have it, 10 superhero movies that were so close to happening but never made it to the big screen. From James Cameron's Spider-Man to Justice League, Mortal, these films could have changed the superhero landscape forever. Which one of these projects do you wish you could have seen? Let me know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more superhero movie breakdowns and updates. See you in the next one!
What are you, nuts? You're a freaking guy in a suit! Let me help.
Everyone needs to follow the plan.